Welcome to the Power Trip After Party. I just farted. What do you think of that?
It stinks so bad.
How
dude.
come you always take the Lord's name in vain before?
Yeah. Do you see Jesus when I fart?
Yeah, what's the deal with that,
No.
Paul?
Yeah. Are we going to talk to somebody today?
Yeah, we're going to talk to Lisa Ann.
I love
Hey, do us
Lisa
a
Ann.
favor. Don't ask her something weird like
Yeah,
you
don't
always
ask
do.
about
Yeah, come
my
on,
penises
Zach.
and stuff.
Yeah,
like that. Please.
or her bush like you did the one time.
Yeah, that was the weirdest question
Yeah.
ever asked.
Doesn't
How's
seem
your
ever.
bush?
It was a very pertinent, very journalistic question.
That's not a word.
I'm shocked she's coming back on after your sick question.
Well,
Anyway.
she's not joined us yet. Let's find out right now.
Do you play in any guillotine leagues?
I did last season. I didn't this season. They're a ton of fun. Do you play in any?
So I just did. I'm doing my first one this year,
Okay.
and I don't know. I'm excited for it, but I don't want to be the first one. I don't want to be the first one out because I pick my team, but then with any league, like with a 10-team league, you're like, all right, you can get 6 to 7 good players, 4 to 5 great players, and then it's a crapshoot on the rest of them. I think my guillotine league has 3 good players, and the rest are I'm just winging it because it's with 18 teams, there's so little depth. I'm excited to play in a guillotine league.
18 teams is brutal. There is so little depth. You're right. By the 5th or 6th round, you're just taking nothing but flyers, right? You're like, Cooper Kupp might have a good season. I love Matthew Stafford in LA, but I'm more leaning towards the tight ends in LA. So I look at Tyler Higbee as having some upside this season because Stafford loves to throw the tight end.
Yeah, I can't wait. I have guys on my bench that are projected to score 0 points. That's how bad the depth of my guillotine league team is.
But you do get to make moves in that league, right? You will get to go to the waiver wire. Okay, and the great thing about it is once teams are eliminated, their players get thrown back in the player pool, right? In your league?
Correct.
That's how mine was too.
You
That's
could get an
kinda
Alvin
cool.
Kamara week 1. I'm excited to play it. As long as I'm not out first. That's what I'm pumped for.
Yeah, I understand that. Nobody wants to be that guy.
No.
I'm just excited that it's football season. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's here. It's finally here.
I can't believe it's finally here. Like, I'm so excited. We had a good change in the weather after that big storm that hit the Northeast. So it started to feel like fall a bit. And that really also is this signal, cooler weather makes you like, oh yes, Sundays I'll be watching football all day. And it gets you in that whole just mindset.
How dicey was that for you? I saw those videos, obviously, of the subways flooding and things. It looked like it got really scary.
Yeah, I love to say that I'm a New Yorker, but I don't take the subway. And I also live closer to the highest elevation on the island intentionally because I am aware of many things. I am aware of litter and debris in our sewage, so of course when it's going to rain, it's just like California, it's just going to flood right out. But watching the videos of the water in the subway, my biggest fear in the world is just touching something down there. It's so disgusting. And I know that the water that's cleaning all the dirt is landing on you. For me in my place, it was like being inside a car wash for 4 hours minus the soap. But when I woke up the next day, my windows were pressure washed. The air was clean. I mean, for the 3 days after that storm, the weather was the best it's been here in 2 years.
Does your building rock back and forth when the wind blows hard?
So the building is built, it was built in 2019, and it has these channels in between each unit, right? Where air actually flows through. So you hear air just terrorize. My first Sunday here, a hurricane came through, out of nowhere, right? And at one point I was Googling what happens when glass breaks, will it lacerate you? Yes, you have to multiply the speed of the wind times 4. That's how it's going to impale you. So there was about an hour that I was inside my bedroom closet that night. I was just this is the only non-window really room with nothing breakable. So I was in the closet, just on my Wi-Fi, just doing my thing. Well, I still have Wi-Fi, so I should live through this storm. And I feel like after that, I'm not even worried. But yeah, I had to bring in the patio furniture. You don't play, but it was intense. And the city's very different. I know New Jersey and Pennsylvania, where I'm from, got hit really hard. And Mother Nature doesn't play. Okay. She is the ultimate decider. She's deciding the fate of my evening because I'm going to the US Open tonight.
Ooh.
All new gear, new kicks, new everything, super excited.
Who are you watching?
Now, it's going to rain.
Oh.
It's going to rain.
What?
Yes, it's going to start raining 8 o'clock. We have a dinner at 6. I'm not even sure who I'm watching. I'm going out with UBS. My financial planner has an event. So I'm going out with him. My agent's going to be out there. My business manager. It's just going to be like team TRLA hanging out together.
Cool.
Have you ever been before? I heard it's a whale of a good time.
I've been before, and the first time I went, it was one of those Augusts where it was so brutally hot here, and there's no shade there, okay? You are just on tarmac, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, this is a miserable experience. Then I went back again, it was a little bit better, but when it's that hot, it's just brutal.
Did you make any money on golf this year?
I did not, but I have started to use this simulator in my building. Who in this room has made some money on golf this year?
Yeah, 3 of us have done
man.
pretty well on golf.
Yeah.
I did not.
I cashed in.
Golf betting's the best.
Yeah.
So obviously you're not playing DeChambeau, right?
No,
No.
I had Cantlay.
A couple of us crushed on Morikawa, and Chris got rich off of Cantlay a couple
I
weeks
did.
ago.
Yeah, I made
So
what,
exciting.
$2,200?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's great.
So what we do is we get all the members of the show, we put everybody's name in a hat, and we pick, and then you get to pick. We do all the majors, and then we did the BMW thing. Anytime it's basically like a major
Sure.
group where it's all like the top 50 golfers, we normally bet on that. And I'm the only one who plays, and I don't think I've ever won once.
I don't think so.
I'm awful at it.
He's terrible.
Because you're overthinking it, obviously.
Well, yeah, because I put
you play.
yeah,
You
and
feel
I
like you should know more than everybody else in the room, and you don't.
right.
Right.
I've never been on. I've never had my guy in the final Sunday group. I had Patrick Reed. I think it was in the U.S. Open last year, and he was
Okay.
so fucking bad on the third day. He was in contention, and I think he shot like an 8, then a 9, and then a 6. Fuck him. That was
But-
terrible. I had the 36-hole lead, and he fell apart.
But nobody. It was Mickelson that won that last year. Am I correct?
I don't know if it was. It was whatever it was, like 2020 when they played it in like August.
Yeah.
It was whatever major that was. But Patrick Reed was in. Then the guy almost died like a month ago. He had pneumonia so bad.
Yeah,
From-
don't pick him again.
Would
Don't
you
pick
would you have
anybody,
cared
please.
if he did?
Do
Yeah, I
you
would have
think that
cared. I don't know
he
if his
got
mom
the-
and dad would.
Do you think that he got the pneumonia and was almost dead because of all the ill wishes that you were sending
Right.
him for letting you
I don't know
down?
who dislikes him more, me or his family.
Oh,
well,
that's
a little bit of both.
Well, it's true though.
So
Like, how do
mean,
you?
though.
Your son is when he won the Masters. His family wasn't allowed to show up.
They
That's such a
were busy.
that's such a
Sometimes you
weird
get
story.
busy.
Yeah,
It's
we either
okay.
go watch our son at
you
the
know,
Masters or we go to church. I guess I don't know.
I didn't know of the drama. It's funny how we know like
Yeah.
what athletes, ideally. But listen, if I was playing in the U.S. Open, my parents wouldn't be invited either. So I'm going to be right there with Reed. I'm also going to be there with Aaron Rodgers, who at times
Yeah.
doesn't talk to his family.
Right.
Like, I've got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, we'll be there for you. Don't you worry. If you
Yeah.
make it in the U.S. Open, we're
Yeah,
going
we'll
to be
be
there for
there.
you.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's go back to fantasy football for a moment because
Gotcha.
obviously everybody on the planet would take Dalvin Cook pretty high in their fantasy football draft. What about Kirk Cousins?
There's where it gets dicey, right? Are you expecting consistent points from Kirk Cousins? That's the dynamic part of Dalvin Cook being able to run that show. I've seen Kirk Cousins not be drafted. Now, week 1, week 2, he'll be picked up off the waiver wire because there will be an injury. Let's be real here. So then his value will kind of rise to the top. But I think if you're at a 12-team PPR, a lot of drafters do not pick up 2 quarterbacks. So you're not going to see a Kirk Cousins. I like having 2 quarterbacks. I like to not scramble if there's an injury. I like to not be freaking out about bye weeks. And I also like to have a trade piece. So by having 2 quarterbacks, I can right away know every owner, every manager in my league. And, let's say somebody does draft Kirk Cousins, he gets injured, then I can say, hey, I've got these 2, I want your receivers. So I think it's valuable. And I think that's why he doesn't get the love. But Stafford's getting a lot of love in Los Angeles. And even though we haven't seen much, we know what he can do. And we're looking at what Goff didn't do. And I think we're already adding that onto Stafford. But he's a second quarterback for me just because I want to see week 1 and week 2. That defense is so good. Stafford might not have to put up the same points that other quarterbacks have to out of the deficit that they're fighting always because their defense is horrible.
Who's the first rookie quarterback you'd take?
Oh, definitely Jones. Definitely Cam Jones. I mean, I took him in. I played a ton of super flex leagues. So you start 2 quarterbacks, no kicker. And I always take a third quarterback, and I always take a rookie quarterback as my third quarterback because you're like, whatever. Like, if I don't use him, I'll just throw him back. Last year it was Justin Herbert. This year was Jones for me. I really like Trey Lance as well. I got him in one league. The finger issue will probably last till about what? Week 3, week 4, Jimmy G will get hurt. Trey Lance will be in there. So I didn't take any Trevor Lawrence, and that's mainly just because I don't love the team. I don't love a coach that's ever coached the NFL, so that's going to be a wait and see for me.
So we have a gal on the show named Carly Zucker. She's married to NHL star Jason Zucker of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
He used to play for the Wild. Now he plays for the Penguins. Carly, though, is obsessed with Jimmy Garoppolo. And again, her husband's rich, famous, good-looking, all that garbage. She's kind of obsessed with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think would leave Jason in a heartbeat if she was given the opportunity. How do you feel about Jimmy Garoppolo in terms of his looks? Is he as hot as Carly thinks?
He's a good-looking guy. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there was nothing better than what he called Aaron Andrews' babe.
Yeah.
And the world made such a big deal of it. And I don't know if you saw last year, he made masks with that same saying with the babe on it. Like, I was like, okay, Jimmy G's leaning in. I do believe that Jimmy G could have picked a higher ranking adult film star for dinner. Remember when he went with that was
and he got just dragged.
Any names you can think of off the top of your head that you wish would have gotten that invite?
Listen, nothing against Karamir. I think it's great. It was awesome. It definitely let us know that he likes the MILF category because that's where she would sit, right? And if you're thinking about the MILF category, it's incredibly robust. I mean, there's so many awesome MILFs out there. It just was kind of a plot twist to me where I was like, you know, I didn't draft him that year. And I told everybody I can't draft him because he didn't draft a top 10 MILF porn star to take to dinner. So why am I going to draft him top 10 no quarterback situation?
Is that top 10 available anywhere? Is there a list that I can download?
Where's this list?
I really need
Yo,
to
I
know.
think we can make one off the top of our head. I go in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Number one draft pick.
Yeah.
Who do you everyone bring one to the surface?
Yeah,
I know
Sauce.
you all have.
Well, let me think. You could.
Should we go get Nordo?
Yeah. Well,
The
there's a
porn
guy here.
encyclopedia?
Yeah.
He could, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I go old, I mean, I'm almost GILF category at this point because I go all the way back to Christy Canyon and Sika. I mean, those were.
I was gonna say Seika.
Thank you.
Seika, Christy Canyon, Nina Hartley, Julia Ann, Diana Laurent.
Julia Ann.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sophie D.
I feel like I'm at a concert right now. I'm cheering.
Brandy
here.
Love.
Yeah. Brandy
Sophie
Love.
D's a younger
Yeah.
generation
Yeah.
MILF, right?
Yeah.
She, but those eyes. You're right, Sophie D there.
Oh,
We could also go Janine. We could also go Ginger Lynn. We could also, I mean, the rankings from back then, if you remember, Raquel Darrian was
man.
beautiful.
Are you reading the history on hockey's phone?
I'm sorry, but she's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, this was my life. I'll tell you this. When I first met Raquel Darrian, she was a feature dancer at Al's Diamond Cabaret when I was just a house girl named Sunshine. Didn't know my fate yet.
Aw.
She was the first girl that inspired me to work out. I had never met anybody that had a body like her. I mean, you could drop a quarter and bounce it off her ass. That girl went to the gym, and when she did her dance booking, she would tell the agent to make sure there was a gym, and the club would pay for her temporary gym membership. This was unheard of in, let's say, 1990, right? And but she was also dating this huge, like, meathead guy, so they would go to the gym together, but she was a stunner. And we just don't get girls that look like her anymore.
Man, those legs. Her legs were incredible. I'm
I
not
can
kidding. I
picture
remember
them
her very
right now.
well. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna need a minute, guys. I'll be right back.
Hey, is there a DILF category, Zach? Are DILFs a thing?
I'm not off the top of my head. I mean, they're. I guess, yeah. I don't know. That wouldn't be
Dilf
my...
is dad, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
Oh my God, yes, there's
Yeah.
a Dilf.
There's
category.
DILFs?
Yeah. Johnny Sins.
So it's
man.
like stepdads, or how does that work? What
Well,
genre is this?
I was thinking in the regular celebrity world. Like, I was thinking like J-Lo has a Dilf because she's with Ben Affleck and he has kids. So
Sure.
But in the, it's funny, we don't unveil the male performers' private lives as much. We also don't label them. They just get to play different roles. You mentioned Johnny Sins. He's been an astronaut. He's been a doctor. He's been in the military. The guy's done I believe that he should be the new DeSecchi's guy. Like, is the most interesting guy in the world.
That's fantastic.
The world would love Johnny Sins as the DeSecchi's guy.
There's not a better meme on the internet than they show all the different roles that Johnny Sins has played, and they go, the one guy that no one talks about who should be president. It's just, it's so funny. It's brilliant. Bezos may own Amazon, but he's never been, in the military. It's brilliant.
Of course not. Whenever those little things come out and people are like, what jobs have you had? I always list like, oh, well, I've been a real estate agent. I've been a governor of Alaska. I've been, a waitress. I've been a stay-at-home mom, I was Johnny Sin's first agent, and he was the only member of talent that I was like, I was knee deep in Entourage, and I was like, okay, I'm Ari, but in porn. Like, this is me. So he was coming in for a meeting, and I had seen photos of we actually met on MySpace. And I decided I got to take this guy to lunch, right? I got to wine and dine this guy, right? So the closest place to my office was like Boca de Peppa, the Italian restaurant where they give you way too much food. And he is the only member of talent in the 4 years that I had my agency that I was ever like, I can't talk to this guy at a desk. I got to feed him, do something for him, because I knew he was going to be a star.
Wow. Can I be improper for a moment?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So when you are like, had you already seen had you seen the merchandise?
I love this. Well, yes, because of course you have them submit nude photos.
Okay, and they just send you a schlong pic, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's actually a warranted schlong pic. It's the one or two times in my life where I actually asked for them via email,
I can't even imagine.
and they provided value to me as opposed to the hundreds of other dicks I have to look at a day.
How many people do you think you block in a day on social media?
At least 100.
Oh,
Jeez
God.
Louise.
Like that one,
Jeez.
the one guy that like asked you that really gross question the other day, and then you
Oh my
retweet
gosh.
him, and I
Should
just
we
love how he's like,
recap
"Well, what
it?
do you mean? Why would you retweet this? Because that's a fucking sick thing to ask anyone."
What was the question? Can you repeat the
It was
question or
something
not?
about-
Yes. I
yeah.
had just posted a photo from a charity walk to raise
Ugh.
money for my walk to end Alzheimer's. He sent a DM asking if I have any videos where my hair is like it was in the charity walk photo because he needed some wank material. Now let's just
Right.
recap this guy, Andrew. Andrew came at me about 3 months ago because he heard me on an interview talking about feverish masturbators, and he was offended. And I said to him, dude, you got to stop DMing me. I don't answer my DMs anymore. Like, this is just, let's just keep it on the major timeline, because if you put it on the major timeline, then it's easy for him. And he just kept at it. So I just kept deleting. So for the past 3 months, I deleted every DM he sent me because I saved and screen grabbed the 4 times I said, please stop DMing me, and Steve, please just stop. I then get this DM, and I was like, you know what? This one's way too rich to delete. I must bring, and I didn't even, you notice I didn't even crop out his name. I was like, you know what? You are so going to get bodied right now. Now, when I do troll somebody back, I do delete the tweet a couple hours later because I just don't want the toxicity on my timeline.
Sure.
But like the person who looks at a charity walk photo, and then also the person who thinks I have the time in my day to carefully curate your wank material at like 9:20 a.m. can go fuck themselves. Okay. So he's now dead to
Yeah,
me.
Zach.
No mute. He's blocked. And I told him to seek help immediately. But it's what I've really come to realize is there's a different level of people and a different generation coming from this phone porn generation. And I'm even hearing it on fantasy sports radio, where these guys want to call in and read their whole lineup and have the host tell them that their team is amazing, right? So like I heard it one night about 2 weeks ago, and I texted the host and I said, these guys want a roster bait. It's no different than rate my dick. This is no different than the guy that's sliding into my OnlyFans with his dick pic saying how much to rate my penis. Like, now you want us to rate your fantasy team? Everybody stop. Like, get over yourselves. We don't, because it doesn't make good radio to just hear a guy call and be like, my team's better than any team in my league. Listen, everybody, I drafted. And you got to sit there and listen to this jamoke go through his starters and his bench. And then you've got to like help him rub one out by being like, oh my God, that's the best lineup ever. You're going to crush it this season. Like, the hosts are so frustrated. So every time I hear somebody do it, I just text them like, #rate my penis.
Yeah, but what you're talking about is it's the younger generations, and then some of us in our 30s, 40s, and 50s that are like begging to feel important, feel empowered. Every one of us wants our opinions constantly validated. So I don't think that's going away ever. I just think that Pandora's box is open, right? That everybody now on social media just thinks, I can't just be the person that sits at home quietly having a fantasy football team. Somebody has to tell me I'm the best at it.
I agree. Like, look, I get 100 emails a day to my mailbag where I just get emails for my podcast, right? 100 emails a day that just give social media addresses. Hey, follow me on these social media addresses. Why would I do that? And why are you spending your time doing this? But yeah, you're right. There's an entitlement. And also, this is the first generation of humans that their parents were taught not to say no because that was like a bad thing. It's discouraging to children. They also got participation trophies for graduating grades that obviously they had to graduate to get to the next fucking grade. Why are we making a big deal of 5th grade? Obviously your kid's going to 6th. Okay.
Right.
I mean, you're lucky they're going to 6. They didn't fail, but the participation trophy mindset is like, it's runneth over.
But how about, like, I think all of us, even Zach, because Zach, you're 27, 26. Zach famously got 19 Fs in high school and basically should not have graduated, but still works his ass off and figures it out. But I just think failure is a part of growing up. Like, drag your ass off the floor and do it again. Again, I've been playing poker for 20 years. I fail every time I fucking play.
It's really, really bad.
But I love it.
Hilarious.
But it's like, all right, what did I do wrong? And then on the 4-hour drive home, it's like, how can I fix that next time? Like, that's a really bad example, but like, I think kids
it's
have
a great
to fail.
example.
But kids have to fail. And I told these guys, my oldest daughter just started her sophomore year of high school today, but last year in the spring quarter, technically her worst grade out of the 4 was the one she busted her ass on the most and could have absolutely just quit and fail. She's worked her ass off and got a B- and was like disappointed. And I'm like, that's the best grade you got because you didn't quit. So like, I love the idea of letting them kind of quote fail and learning from their mistakes. But
I love that
I
at
don't know.
her age, she's already pushing herself when she doesn't have to. You can get 19 Fs and graduate in the United States.
Look
Like,
at that guy.
Talk to Stan on a
God damn
podcast.
right.
Yeah, look,
Listen.
he's proof.
school, like I can remember just hating my brother because he carried books home from school, and I was always the one telling my parents like, oh, we do all of our work in school. I don't know what's wrong with him that he wants to study at home. I mean, I never did homework, I never studied, I just got by because I just wanted to get out of school and do other things.
That's
So
exactly Zach, by the way. You're honestly explaining exactly why he failed. Is he just wanted to move on with his life. He didn't
I
care.
just wanted out. I felt like it was holding me back. I don't know what I felt like I was missing. I didn't even know about the world yet. But and I also knew that you can get by on very little in our SAD school program here. And pass, right?
Mhm.
Like I knew exactly how many days of school I could miss every year without automatically getting failed. And at the beginning of the year, I would sit with my calculator, my calendar, and decide where I was going to take those days off. I mean, I missed half the school year as soon as I was old enough to figure out I could miss half the school year and not fail.
I didn't bring a backpack my entire senior year.
Shocking.
It was
I never
not
even
good.
owned a backpack in school. I just carried a purse.
Yeah, I didn't bring anything. I didn't have a pencil half the time.
We had cigarettes and lighters for
Yeah.
sure.
We definitely had weed. Yeah.
There was nothing more fun than doing those things at school. They
Hell
were
yeah.
so much more fun.
Yeah. Leave for lunch and drive around and smoke cigarettes, even though you really didn't smoke cigarettes, but you just did it anyway.
We would do it in the bathroom, and we thought if we blew it down the toilet, well, also we'd have hairspray with us, but we would blow the smoke down the toilet and flush the toilet. We did it right in school because in Pennsylvania, it's sometimes too cold to be going out there and weathering the storm. So you just do it inside.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. Last thing before we let you go, right back to football real quick.
Yep.
We literally know nothing about Cincinnati other than the surface stuff because they're an AFC team. We don't pay much attention to it. Burrow this weekend going to play. I mean, do you know much about this squad that we should know?
Burrow is going to play since he did do a decent amount of work on their line on the offseason. I think Burrow can have another really good season. You know what I like? I like how quiet they've kept the news for Cincy. Even though you don't follow, it hasn't been thrown in your face like Jimmy G or like Cam Newton. And that is so great for a young player like Burrow to not be suffocated by the noise around him. I think he's going to go out there and ball, and he's a great second quarterback in a league with a late bye week.
So Vikings -3 on Sunday. Do you take the Bengals and the points, or do you lay the 3?
I take the Bengals and the points. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
no, I would
take
too.
the Vikings.
Hey, trust us, we like gambling more than we like the Vikings, so we're not offended by your gambling takes.
So can I
love
ask you on one game before I go? Like, I want to ask you on one game that challenges me. It's the Chargers taking on the Washington football team. The line has moved. The spread is 1, but the total points is 44.5. I'm looking at it, Bovada. Washington's defense really has me alert this season. That's another defense I've been picking up. It's like, ranked third. I think I love Tampa Bay. I love Los Angeles, but dude, Washington's football team could be real. And what do you think of this matchup? Because the Chargers, they have Herbert, they have star power there as well.
Well, the Chargers put a bunch of money into their offensive line. They got Corey Linsley. They took Rashawn Slater 12th or 13th overall, the left tackle. And they're just stacked on offense, but that defensive line for Washington is 4 first-round picks, including Chase Young, who as a rookie last year was a captain. I mean, that defensive line is no joke. They're so good, but I like San Diego, but could we see a sophomore slump with Justin Herbert, who was lights out last year? But I think if they redrafted it, I think last year he's the number 1 overall pick in front of Burrow. I think Herbert's taken in front of Burrow.
I take any team that is playing a team that's traveling that far across the country. I would take Washington myself.
Yeah. I like
that's
San
definitely
Diego.
a variable, right? The time change, the adjustment, you're just getting used to this traveling again thing. I really like Austin Eckler, so I'm glad that the Chargers did
he's a good PPR guy.
He plays fantasy.
Yeah. So tomorrow when you join us, we're going to have to come up with a new segment because we were just going to have random listeners call in and tell you their fantasy lineup.
And then send you pictures of the winners.
And then
it's going to be the wiener and fantasies.
We can do start sits, right? So you have them text line, call in, what have you, put them out on Twitter, whatever, and I'll help them set their lineups.
Yeah, we'll do some betting with you tomorrow. I can't wait for you to join us on the actual radio show.
Yeah, what time's that tomorrow?
I can't either.
6:20 our time, 7:20 her time.
I'm getting up super early, but when I asked if this was on camera, and he said, no, it's just radio, perfect, because I don't have to get up and do my hair and makeup beforehand. So this saves a lot. Thank you.
This is exactly how we'll look tomorrow. This is why we're not on camera.
Same pants and underwear.
We're going to look exactly like this.
Yeah, pretty
Hey,
gross.
listen, I admire you saving the environment by not overdoing laundry.
That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, that's it. We're very
environmentally cautious. I love this.
You're the best. Thanks so much.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day in that beautiful city.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.